Have you ever stood in a garden center, looking at those beautiful packets of seeds, only to feel a sudden wave of overwhelm? Maybe you look at your limited patio space, your apartment balcony, or your small paved backyard and think, there is just no way I can grow my own fresh food here. Or perhaps you've tried your hand at gardening before, only to watch your plants slowly wither away, leaving you feeling like you simply don't have a green thumb. It's incredibly discouraging to spend your time, energy, and money only to end up with empty pots and dead leaves. But please, don't give up just yet. Today, we are completely changing the game. You do not need a massive backyard, rows of tilled earth, or decades of experience to grow a bountiful, thriving harvest. We're diving into 7 foolproof, incredibly resilient vegetables that are absolutely perfect for container gardening. These plants are so forgiving that even if you have never grown a single thing in your life, you can achieve complete success right on your porch. 1. Crunchy carrots. Many people assume carrots need endless open earth, but the truth is, they thrive in a controlled container environment. Growing them in a pot actually gives you total control over soil texture, which is the secret to perfectly straight, beautiful carrots. Container size and depth. The golden rule here is depth. Your container must be at least 12 inches deep. That gives the roots plenty of room to stretch downward without hitting a hard barrier. If they hit bottom too early, they'll curl, twist, or split instead of growing long and straight. A wide, round fabric pot or a deep plastic window box works beautifully, as long as it has solid drainage holes at the bottom. Soil and watering. Carrots despise heavy, clay-filled soil. When the soil is too dense, tiny seeds struggle to push through, and roots end up misshapen. Use a loose, lightweight potting mix blended with coarse sand or perlite so the roots can glide downward effortlessly. Keep the soil consistently moist, like a wrung-out sponge, especially while seeds are germinating. Water gently with a soft spray so you don't wash the tiny seeds away in the process. Common mistakes. The single biggest mistake beginners make with carrots is failing to thin them out. Carrot seeds are microscopic, and it's easy to accidentally sow far too many into one pot. As they sprout, they'll look like a beautiful, thick carpet of green turf. But if you leave them clustered together, none of them will grow into actual carrots. Take a pair of small scissors and snip away the extra seedlings until the remaining ones are spaced about 2 inches apart. Never pull them out by the roots, since that disturbs the fragile roots of the neighboring carrots you want to keep. Harvest timing. Watch the base of the green tops where they meet the soil. When the shoulders poking up are about the thickness of your thumb, they're ready. Stagger your planting every 3 weeks for a steady supply all season. Insider tip. Water your carrot container thoroughly the night before harvesting. Damp soil lets you gently twist and pull carrots out whole, without snapping the tops off. 2. Vibrant leafy lettuce. Lettuce, and really any leafy green, is one of the best container candidates. It often does better in pots than in ground, since it's elevated away from ground-dwelling pests. Container size and depth. Unlike carrots, lettuce has a remarkably shallow, delicate root system, so you don't need a deep or heavy pot at all. A shallow container just 6 to 8 inches deep is more than enough. Shallow bowls, wide troughs, or repurposed items all work well. I've even grown leaf lettuce inside a hollowed-out cantaloupe. As long as water can drain freely, lettuce will grow in it. Soil and watering. Because lettuce grows so quickly, it loves potting soil rich in organic matter. Look for a mix with plenty of compost or coco coir to help retain moisture. Since lettuce is composed mostly of water, it's highly sensitive to drought. If the soil dries out completely, leaves wilt and turn bitter almost overnight. Check your pots daily during warm weather, and water gently at the base of the plant to keep leaves clean and dry. Common mistakes. The most common pitfall is placing containers in intense, scorching afternoon sun. Lettuce is a cool weather crop. When it gets too hot, the plant enters survival mode and undergoes a process called bolting, suddenly shooting up a tall central stalk, producing flowers, and turning bitter and unpalatable. If you notice the weather warming up, simply move your portable containers into a shaded spot where they can stay cool and protected. Harvest timing. Use the cut-and-come-again method. Once outer leaves reach about 4 inches, snip them an inch above the soil and leave the center intact. The plant will keep producing new leaves for weeks. Insider tip. Harvest lettuce early in the morning, before sun hits the leaves. Overnight moisture makes morning-picked lettuce noticeably crisper and longer-lasting than afternoon-picked. 3. Hearty garlic bulbs. Garlic is a surprising favorite that beginners often overlook. Despite sounding complicated, it's one of the easiest, lowest maintenance crops you can grow. Container size and depth. Garlic has a relatively short, shallow root system, but it needs ample space to expand sideways into a full, plump bulb. Choose a container at least 10 to 12 inches deep, wide enough to space your cloves 5 to 6 inches apart. A standard 5-gallon bucket with drainage holes drilled into the bottom is a powerhouse for growing a magnificent batch of homegrown garlic. Soil and watering. Garlic absolutely requires excellent drainage. If roots sit in stagnant, soggy soil, the cloves will quickly rot away. Use a well-draining potting soil mixed with a bit of perlite and a handful of organic granular fertilizer. When you plant in the fall, water once and then let nature take over through winter. Once active growth resumes in spring, water deeply whenever the top inch of soil feels dry to the touch. Common mistakes. The biggest mistake beginners make is planting the garlic cloves upside down. Each clove has a distinct pointed tip and a flat, rough bottom where roots grow. Always plant with the pointed tip facing up and the flat base facing down. Planted upside down, the shoot wastes precious energy curving around the bulb to find the light, resulting in a small, distorted harvest. Harvest timing. Garlic takes up to 9 months, planted in fall and harvested midsummer. It's ready when lower leaves turn brown, while the top few stay green. Stop watering for a week once half the leaves are brown, then gently lift the bulbs. Insider tip. If you're growing hardneck varieties, snip off the curling green scape as soon as it appears in late spring. This redirects the plant's energy into growing a bigger bulb instead of a flower, and the scapes are delicious sautéed in butter. A quick note on your success. Before we move to vegetable 4, I want to share a resource that takes the guesswork out of your journey. If you want a simple, step-by-step companion for caring for your plants, check out our Plant Care Handbook, packed with easy checklists and direct advice to keep your pots healthy all year. I promise I won't mention it again in this video, but the link's in the description if you want to take a look. Now, back to our next foolproof vegetable. 4. Sweet and climbing peas. Whether you love sugar snaps, snow peas, or shelling peas, these plants are wonderfully suited for container living. Tough, cool weather loving, and great for adding vertical structure to your patio. Container size and depth. Peas have remarkably shallow root systems, so they don't require a huge volume of soil. A pot 8 to 10 inches deep is perfectly sufficient. What matters more is support. Since most pea varieties are enthusiastic climbers, place a trellis, small tomato cage, or a few sturdy bamboo stakes directly into the pot at planting time, so vines have something to hold on to as they scale upward. Soil and watering. Peas prefer a lightweight, loose potting mix that stays damp but never waterlogged. They're capable of gathering their own nitrogen from the air, so skip nitrogen-heavy fertilizers. Too much nitrogen results in lush green leaves but few if any pods. Water consistently, keeping the soil evenly moist, especially once the white flowers begin to bloom, since that's when the plant needs moisture most to form crunchy pods. Common mistakes. A very common mistake is trying to transplant peas after starting them indoors. Peas have incredibly sensitive, brittle roots that despise being disturbed. Pull them out of a starter cell and they'll often go into shock and stop growing entirely. Instead, always direct sow your pea seeds right into their final container, pressing the large seeds an inch deep into the soil. Harvest timing. Peas are cold tolerant, so plant early. They're ready when pods look plump and glossy. Pick sugar snap and snow peas while seeds are still small for the sweetest, most tender pods. Frequent picking encourages more blossoms. Insider tip. Soak pea seeds in room temperature water for 6 to 12 hours before planting. This softens the shell and roughly halves germination time. 5. Unstoppable green onions. Green onions, or scallions, might be the single easiest crop in the world to grow. Resilient, compact, and endlessly productive. Container size and depth. Green onions are incredibly compact, so container size is barely an issue. Use a tiny 6-inch ceramic pot on a kitchen windowsill, a plastic window box, or crowd them into the empty corners of your larger containers. Their roots are very short and only need a few inches of soil depth to stay happy and anchored. Soil and watering. Green onions are remarkably unfussy about soil. Any standard, well-draining potting soil from your local garden center works beautifully. While they enjoy regular watering, they're highly forgiving if you occasionally forget for a few days. Just give them a good soak when the soil feels dry, and they'll bounce right back without a care in the world. Common mistakes. Throwing the plant away after harvesting. Green onions come back year after year in containers. They're not one and done. Harvest timing. Harvest at any stage. For thin, chive-like stems, plant thickly and snip as needed. For thicker scallions, let them grow a few weeks until pencil thick. Insider tip: skip the seeds entirely. Save the white root ends from grocery store green onions and push them into moist soil, leaving the tops exposed. New shoots appear within days. Left uncut, they'll even produce purple flowers that draw pollinators. 6. Sweet patio strawberries. There's nothing like picking a warm, sun-ripened strawberry off the vine, and these plants are naturally built for container life. Container size and depth. Strawberries possess an extremely shallow, fibrous root system that spreads outward rather than downward, so they don't need deep pots. They love wide openings instead. Specialized strawberry pots, with pockets cascading down the sides, let you grow a dozen plants in one small footprint. Hanging baskets are also excellent, letting fruit dangle gracefully away from the soil. Soil and watering. Strawberries prefer a slightly acidic, nutrient-rich potting mix. Mix a few handfuls of compost or peat moss into your standard soil. Because roots live so close to the surface, they can dry out quickly on hot days, so water regularly to keep the soil consistently damp. Try to water underneath the leaves, directly onto the soil, since wet foliage can lead to powdery mildew or fruit rot. Common mistakes. Planting too deep. The crown, the fleshy base where leaves emerge, must stay above the soil line, or it will suffocate and rot. Harvest timing. Wait until berries turn completely, uniformly red before picking. An extra day or two on the vine after they turn red lets the sugars fully develop for that classic sweet flavor. Insider tip: strawberries send out runners with baby plants at the tip. Place a small pot of moist soil nearby and press the baby plant in while still attached. In 2 weeks, it'll root on its own. Snip the cord for a free new plant. 7. Majestic container tomatoes. The undisputed crown jewel of container gardening. A single tomato plant can produce pounds of juicy fruit all summer. Container size and depth. Unlike the other plants on this list, tomatoes make no mistake. They demand plenty of physical space. Try to grow one in a tiny pot, and it will quickly become root-bound, dry out constantly, and fail to produce fruit. You need a container that holds at least 7 gallons of soil, though a 10-gallon pot is highly preferable for almost all varieties. This extra volume gives the plant enough moisture and nutrients to support its rapid summer growth. Soil and watering. Tomatoes are incredibly heavy feeders and heavy drinkers. Use a premium, rich potting soil and mix in a generous amount of slow-release organic fertilizer. Consistency is your top priority here. Avoid the classic cycle of letting the pot dry out until the plant wilts, then drowning it with water. That erratic moisture roller coaster causes split skins or blossom end rot, where the bottoms of the tomatoes turn black and leathery. Common mistakes. The biggest mistake beginners make is choosing the wrong variety of tomato for their space. There are 2 main types: indeterminate and determinate. Indeterminate varieties grow like endless, massive vines that can easily reach 8 feet tall and require heavy structural support. For containers, beginners should look for determinate varieties, often labeled bush, patio, or dwarf. These naturally grow to a fixed, manageable size, usually 3 to 4 feet tall, making them much easier to care for on a balcony or porch. Harvest timing. Tomatoes are ready when fully colored and give slightly when squeezed gently. They should twist off the vine easily. If frost threatens with green tomatoes still on the vine, bring them indoors to ripen on a sunny windowsill. Insider tip: plant tomatoes deep. Snip off the lowest leaf sets and bury the stem, leaving only the top cluster exposed. Tomatoes grow new roots along buried stems, creating a stronger, more efficient root system and a bigger harvest. Your journey begins today. Container gardening is truly one of the most rewarding, peaceful ways to utilize every single piece of available space around your home to grow your own clean, wholesome food. Whether you only have a sunny kitchen windowsill, a small apartment balcony, or a concrete patio, you have everything you need to create a lush, productive little paradise. Quick recap. Give carrots a foot of loose, sandy soil. Keep lettuce pots cool and damp. Plant garlic pointed end up in fall. Give peas a climbing trellis. Regrow green onions from kitchen scraps. Keep strawberry crowns exposed to air. Give tomatoes a large, deep pot with consistent moisture. Bonus tip: place your heaviest pots on wheeled plant caddies before filling them with soil. You'll be able to roll them to follow the sunshine without straining your back. Now it's time to get your hands in the dirt. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss another growing guide, and drop a comment telling me which of these 7 vegetables you're starting this week. Thanks for spending your time with me today, and happy container gardening.